Hi, I'm Mayor Andy Skibitsky, and welcome to this edition of Hometown. We're here with Senator Tom Kean. Senator, welcome to Hometown.
Good to see you.
It's great seeing you.
Good to see you.
What we'd like to do today is just sort of inform Westfield residents a little bit more about what's happening in Trenton and how that affects us here in Westfield. So thank you for taking your time off on your weekend to film this special segment.
Anything for you, Mayor. Anything for you.
Thank you, Senator. Why don't you just talk a little bit about your background first, so the residents know a little bit more about you. And by the way, Senator Kean's been a Westfield resident for 10 years. And then talk, if you would, a little bit more about the Assembly. You know, the districts and senators and assemblymen and terms and that type of thing. Okay.
Well, great. I've been in the state legislature now since really spring of 2001. And there are, in New Jersey, there are 40 election districts. Each have about 210,000 people in them. And so in each of these districts you have one state senator and 2 members of the General Assembly, all working in the same area. And so in our case we have John Bramnick, who's from Westfield, and Eric Munoz, who's from Summit, and I are part of the 21st Legislative District team. And we work together on issues that are impacting the people of this region as well as 15 other towns. And our district goes across 4 counties, Union, Essex, Morris, and Somerset, total of 16 towns, and it's a wonderful, wonderful district.
Well, good. I mean, and I guess a little bit about your background. I know we have a lot of attorneys in Trenton. Sometimes it's nice to have people a little more diversity. And you're not an attorney, are you?
No, I'm not. I have my master's degree and I'm finishing up a doctorate, but a law degree was not one of those degrees.
And what's your master's in?
International relations.
Okay, your doctorate, same thing.
Yes.
Okay, and where are you taking your
coursework? Actually, in Tufts.
Okay.
In Tufts. One of the great things is I've actually been able to complete all my coursework and the comprehensive exams and everything else, and so now it's just writing. And with the internet and email and everything else, you can correspond very, very easily with the university.
I hate to put you on the spot, so when can we start calling you doctor?
Well, it's going to be a very expensive doorstop, I think, at some point in the next couple months. Next couple months, I hope.
Oh, good. Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you for that background. And tell me a little bit about what's going on in Trenton. I mean, maybe the place where we should start is the economy. I mean, people in Westfield are always talking about, you know, how things not only just globally but in the U.S. and in the state are affecting the state of New Jersey, and from a tax revenue standpoint and how that trickles down to the Westfield level.
Well, it's true that New Jersey faces difficult times right now. People throughout the state are facing difficult times, and people throughout this nation are now facing difficult times. But what's happening in New Jersey didn't just start in this past fall. New Jersey's been behind the curve on job creation, on economic growth, really for the last couple of years. And while we looked at other states, New York State had a 12 times our growth rate of private sector jobs. Connecticut had 7 times our growth rate of private sector jobs. Massachusetts had 8 times our growth rate of private sector jobs. Pennsylvania was 6 times our growth rate. And what's happened is but New Jersey, it's been the decade of lost jobs. That's what the professors Seneca and Hughes said at Rutgers. And so what we need to focus on, I believe, are New Jersey solutions to unique New Jersey problems. New Jersey, because of its increased taxes, just for example last year alone, Governor Corzine extended the home energy tax for $62 million that impacts every single citizen in this state in their rate paying. So what we need to do is we need to make New Jersey more affordable. We need to create jobs, make this a robust economy so we can be a leader not only in science and technology and in pharmaceutical and manufacturing, but in terms of an education basis we can all work together to make New Jersey's future more robust than it currently is.
Well, when I interviewed Governor Corzine on this show, we talked about, you know, how do we keep New Jersey competitive, because we are competing, you know, locally or regionally within the states surrounding us, but also globally. I mean, we are losing jobs to other states that have better, perhaps, tax advantages to businesses. Right. And New Jersey is not seen as one of those states, is it?
It's not. Unfortunately, it's not. And so what we did a couple of years ago, with the Senate Republican caucus joined with the Assembly Republican caucus and put out a common sense plan for a more affordable New Jersey. And what it focused on were ideas that could create jobs and opportunity. And a couple of those ideas regarding the single sales factor, the throw-out rule, and a number of others that were initially scoffed at by the governor were then adopted by the governor, passed on a bipartisan basis, so we can actually create jobs, small and medium-sized jobs, the net operating loss initiative, ways we can protect workers' funds, where I'm working on a bipartisan basis with Senator Steve Sweeney, to try to protect the unemployment insurance fund and those things that have been consistently rated by past legislatures. And what we need to focus on, I believe, is what can we do to create jobs in this state? What can we do to attract businesses so we can be competitive not only across the region, but throughout the world? And I think that we've got real solutions. If you actually on our website, www.senatenj, that's where we've got the entire common sense plan, so people can look there, identify, make suggestions, make recommendations, provide input, and it's a great way to interact with the citizens of the state.
Well, New Jersey has a great very educated population, and that's why a lot of businesses have been headquartered here. And so now we just have to work to get them to get more headquartered here, and those that are looking elsewhere, perhaps because of less of a tax burden, to stay here.
Well, this is a very expensive state. I mean, if you look at what has happened in which to live, and people are struggling to make ends meet frequently in this state. If you look in the last 7 years, I mean, taxes have increased on everything from tires to the sales tax to massive income tax increases to the home energy tax extension that I talked about last year alone. And it seems to me that almost every interaction people have has gotten more expensive because of the tax policies. And what we need to do is create new tax policies that not only bring revenue into the state, and so we have more taxpayers coming in, creating jobs, growing the businesses in every sector of the economy. And what we need to have, I believe, from a New Jersey perspective, is a very strong interaction, not only between the higher education in this institutions in this state, but between higher education, the nonprofit sector, the private sector, and the state government, so we can really figure out what are the solutions that will make, have not only New Jersey responsiveness and creativity really grow, because this is a great state.
Yeah. Well, one of the issues is that those of means that pay a lot of taxes, they can afford to move out, and which we've seen. We sort of seen a drain, haven't we, of some of the higher income earners to move to less burdensome tax states.
Well, we've seen in this state and across the country, there's a 93% correlation between where a company's headquartered and where its CEO wants to live. And when you look into this state, and where you really don't get a benefit for charitable giving, for example, in this state, where in I think 47 other states, you can actually get a tax deduction on your state taxes for giving to charitable institutions. And especially in these hard economic times, think about if you can get a tax credit for giving to the food bank, or for those individuals who love the theater, giving to nonprofits or other arts institutions, giving to your, to help your neighborhoods out. But in New Jersey, you don't get a tax benefit. You do on your federal taxes, but not in New Jersey. So many of these, other policies that benefit citizens and benefit nonprofit institutions in other states don't exist in this state.
So in that